Michael, do you want to come up and start us off and give us the
All right, good evening, everybody.
summary?
Good evening.
All right, we're going to go over our August 31st, 2022 financials. If you will turn to our first page there in our little packet. Overall, our percentage of our fiscal year completed is 66.58%. We have revenue so far this year of $8,735,831.90. So we're 71.66% of budget. So we're ahead of budget. Our expenses have been $7,851,437.25, which is 68.31% of budget. So we're just a little bit over on our expenses with a net revenue right now of $884,394. Some of these percentages and everything will change whenever we go to look at our September results because we passed the budget adjustments in September, so that gets put in as of September. So these figures are based upon our original budget that we approved in January. So those new numbers that we put in won't show up until we look at our September financials. But right now, as far as at the end of August, we were in a real good position. Is there any questions about the detail on those? Okay. The next thing that we want to look at will be our, I believe it's our long-term debt. We have made our interest payments and everything that we have needed to make this year. So our next payment that we will be making was on October 1st. We paid our principal and interest payment for the sales and use tax bond. And then the other kind of thing that I want to draw your attention to is on the water sewer on the 2008 revenue bond. Y'all had passed a few years ago to make some additional payments on that to kind of speed that up. We stopped it in 2020 because of COVID, and then it was supposed to be picked back up in 2021. Lonnie did not make the extra payment at the end of 2021, so I have spoke to them, and we're going to make two payments. They're payments of about $23,264. We're going to make both of those payments in December of this year so that we can get back on track with that. We can't do it until December because they have to sell off some things that are attached to the bond. So we will get those back on track, and that will come out of our I&I money. Then on the next page, this is our sales tax revenue. In September, our sales tax that we received was $315,887.64. That was about almost $16,000 less than we received for the same period last year, which is a decrease of about 4.81%. We still are up 8.18% over 2021. But we did drop. We were hovering at that 10% range. We did drop a little bit down to the 8.18. And this is the collections for July that we received in September. You can see that on the totals lines on the far side, on where it says difference, we're $172,000 ahead of where we were at the same time last year.
Beautiful. Do you have any concerns in the detailed report?
No, with our new budget that we passed, I think we covered all of those when we passed the budget adjustments that we're going to put in here. I think once we get those in here, it's going to make it look a lot cleaner. One of the other things that you'll notice in here on the capital projects fund, that's showing a negative right now of $180,000. That's just because we have recently paid, or we had paid some bills on the odd project and the Public Works building, and so we'll have to transfer some of that money, so that'll balance that out. So if you take that out of there, we'd be running at about $1 million of net revenue, so, for the year.
And CAPC is picking up the odd, right?
Picking up the renovations.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an agreement with them where they're going to be paying 75% of the renovations. We're going to pay 25%. Then
Is that the over and above part, or is that of the total package?
Total.
That's of the original estimate for the arrangements, or the original things that were going to be done. Any change orders are going to be paid at 100%. If the CAPC requested them, they're going to pay 100% of that change order. If it's something we requested, then we'll pay 100% of that change order.
You gotta type this out. What's their percentage?
Their percentage is 75%.
Are we at 400,000 yet?
No, we are at, well, yes, we are. With the change orders, the total is going to be 453,794.
Now, is that including our latest?
Yes.
With the bathrooms?
Yes.
What's the latest with the bathroom?
We've got $60,000 that the council, I
For the
think,
3 bathrooms?
with 3 bathrooms. Those are all,
CAPC's paying that?
no,
No.
no, that's city's paying that, Terry. That's part of the 100% that we're paying. You asked about the 400, how much we've paid to the 400, and that's, we're putting these projects in under that project so we can keep them going. So it will be separated out as the bathrooms, but.
So the 60,000 for the bathrooms is in that 400 figure?
Correct.
So you're looking at 340,
And then we've also, I think, have the lift.
The lift is separate. It's under the Public Works section.
Okay, that's
And-
separate.
and that
Okay, I
one,
didn't know,
what-
no, that's right, because they're not paying for the lift. We're doing that
No,
separately.
that's a total separate project.
Yeah.
They are just doing the CAPC is doing on the auditorium.
Yeah,
so they're paying 75% of basically 340,000 at this point.
No, they're paying 75% of $293,000. Then they're paying 100% of $94,000 that they have asked for in change orders. Our original project was $293,000. Then there's been a total of $159,899 in change orders, with $94,000 of that being the CAPC's request.
And what page are you looking at there?
It's a separate document that I have that
Got it.
I have it all broke out on.
So what's the completion look like it's going to be on downstairs? Are we going to be at 400 on it by the time it's all said and done, or plus?
We should be the 453 minus 64,000, so we're going to be about 390 is going to be the completion. With 100,000 of that being, or 94,000 of that being changes that the CAPC requested that they're going to pay 100% of. So all we're going to be responsible for is 75, or 20, 25, yeah, about 75,000, 73,475.
And the CAPC is going to be on the hook for 225, 300 and some $1,000.
The way I have it calculated
That's less
right
than- I don't
now,
know where the hell they think it's coming from, but
the way it's calculated right now, with all of the change orders added in there, the CAPC would be responsible $315,337. We would be responsible for $138, which that includes the 3 bathrooms.
right. Any idea when they're going to start those?
bathrooms? October 20th.
Well, that's close. That's good. That's great. Glad to hear it.
Who do we wind up getting for that project?
Nabho's doing it. I couldn't get anybody else to come in and do the projects in time and get it, and they're coming in because the doors, we got to tear the doors out on Pendergrass Corner. That's concrete block doors. Those all got to be ripped out. We got to put in temporary doors.
The jams have got to come out.
Yeah, it's concrete block, concrete-filled jams. We think. We don't know because we haven't gotten into it yet, but it appears that way. Most of the time when you do a concrete block building, you fill the jams up with concrete. And then we're redoing all the doors on all the bathrooms back to the RFP reinforced fiberglass panels so they won't rust out.
What kind of reinforced fiberglass panels?
Yep.
Not steel doors.
No, because it rusted out.
Just rusted right through.
Yeah. It got so they wouldn't enclose. I was amazed, but I guess Main Street because of the flooding conditions, and I don't know about Pendergrass Corner. Over the years, water, anyway,
Sure.
it caused rust.
Just condensation, so I've seen it done before.
Yeah, so we're going in with something that won't rust. We looked at stainless steel, but, fiberglass panels were just as good.
Yeah,
They'll be there forever.
stainless would be,
Same thing with the jams.
okay.
Cool.
And also, kind of on a side note on those bathrooms, I had a long talk with Chantel on the cleaning of those and kind of what she was using to clean those bathrooms with. And she was kind of just using whatever she got, whatever we had from COVID and some things like that. I kind of have some prior history with an industrial cleaning company, so I was able to get her some products that she is going to be able to use to help clean those bathrooms and give them a little bit better clean than the products that she was using. So hopefully, once we do get the new renovations in there and get them, get those kind of things done, and then with the, these new cleaning products in there that clean the different things, the ones that need to clean the floors or the drains or the different things, then hopefully that will help us maintain them a little bit better. So hopefully they'll last a little bit longer.
If we can keep the graffiti down, that usually helps deter it, so.
When you're talking about the change orders for the CAPC, who's approving those?
CAPC.
The commission?
Are you?
I don't remember changing any change orders coming through. That's why I'm asking.
They were done several months ago.
Okay.
And
It's probably talking about like the storage room.
Okay.
You remember that?
I remember storage
That
room.
was a change order.
That was just one thing.
We got the ceiling panels, we had the walls, the paint, and running the walls all the way up to the ceilings. Before it was just part way. Those were all change orders.
Okay.
I think the night they did a change order, and they did some audio equipment and some other things that night that they approved her last change order. Her the two change orders have been, one was $27,400 and one was $67,443 was
Okay.
change order number 2.
Gotcha. I'll have to go back. Look at my notes. Thank you.
Yeah. And that project, we do have it outside of the bathrooms that we have just started, we do have it at 100%. So it's pretty much completed. Along with the Public Works building is also at 100%. We had a savings on the Public Works building of $26,460. And then we added the lift. The lift came in at $77,976. So that's going to be an increase of about $51,000. So when you take our savings of the 24 plus the additional 77, it's going to increase Public Works to 51,000.
And where are we with that project as far as?
100% outside of the lift is my understanding.
So, how much have we paid on that to date?
We have paid $763,549.39.
And The only thing left outstanding is the,
We owe them about $20,000 outstanding on the original 780, and then we'll owe them the 51,000 for the lift. So we owe about 71,000 more. It's going to be a total project of $831,807.
and that will be done.
Complete. The original was 780,291. The change order, which was change order number 3, was $77,976 for the lift. Then they gave us a credit of $26,460 for an overall project cost of $831,807.
Mr. Mayor, when's the lift going to show up, do you know?
It's a good question. I'm not real sure. I think we're still 6 to 8 weeks out.
I imagine they're made to order or something.
Yeah.
I have a
The
question. on
garage
this.
doors took us
I'm sorry.
4 months almost after ordering, or longer, 6 months.
Is that the supply chain problems? Is that what causes that delay?
The what?
Supply chain thing?
Yep.
I have a question on this sheet that we were given this evening in our packet on the comparative bank balances. And I got a couple of questions. One, it's just kind of, that caught my eye was on the I&I. It went, it's about a $430,000 increase in that over last month.
Yes. If you will look at the balances on that, we had a transition in employees whenever Yvonne left, and Yvonne was the one that had made the transfers into the I&I account. Whenever she left, they dropped off from being transferred. And so I had to go back and research that and figure out how much we had collected and how much needed to be transferred, and that was the amount that we had to transfer. So I had to bring the I&I account up to date.
Okay, so the way I'm figuring this is that this is, I don't know how many checking accounts this covers. There's probably several.
The
6 or
I&I? No, there's
whatever.
one checking account for I&I.
Well, no. I mean, one for this whole,
Yes, each
Page.
one of those is a checking account.
you have a checkbook for each account.
Yes. Well, we don't write checks physically out of them, but each one of those that's on there is a bank account.
Right, it's, yeah, it's a line item, or it's more than a line item,
Yes,
apparently.
it is a physical bank account, and that is the physical dollars that are in the bank account at the end of those months.
Okay. So, we got 999,000 in I&I.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's good. I had no idea it was anything close to that.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was I going to say? So you've gone back and it's all balanced out?
Yes, I went back to the last month that we had a transfer, and then I calculated every month of the amount that needed to be
This is
transferred.
a great sheet.
Yeah.
I'm really tickled to death to see this. It's the first time I've seen something that's got a handle on the accounts, that we actually know where we are.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
We had this about 6 months ago. Lonnie started it, and then we got it, somewhere it got dropped.
Yeah, I don't remember anything like this, and maybe we did.
We
but
did, it was always in the back of,
Good.
back of it. But,
Good, this is,
yeah, I'm
well, I
I'm
was
glad
probably
Michael got
happy
this
about
back.
it then, but I'm happy again.
Yeah,
We
you
like you happy.
What a happy
But
guy.
that's,
We have a
It's
party.
been,
and
it's been about.
it lets us know where we really stand.
Right. It's, that spreadsheet actually goes back to about 2017, 2016.
Right.
I went ahead and condensed those out. Lonnie hadn't updated it for probably about a year and a half, and so I got it all updated, and Ann's been on my back to get it updated.
So we
So-
can expect this how
Yes.
often now?
I'll keep it, it's up to date, and we'll keep it going forward. And
Well, that's
I'll
great.
show you
No,
the months.
I really like that.
I'll show you the months, and then at the end, we'll put what our year-end balance is, and we'll start again for the next year.
I'm tickled to death with that.
So that'll give you all, a little bit of knowledge of what's there.
And
Yeah,
you meant,
typically, they're part of the quarterly report.
That, I'm sure it looks good on your deal too, yeah.
and you mentioned the I&I. I thought on previous water bills, it had a line on it, monitor for I&I, but this last month, my bill didn't have anything for that for I&I. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, because
Anybody
I
else
don't do the
notice
billing.
their
for
water
that.
bill?
I mean, I don't do the water
So I
bill.
checked mine out
Yeah,
after the last meeting.
because I looked, and this month's, that it came late. I didn't get it until, Saturday, I guess. But it didn't have an I&I item on the monthly bill, and so I didn't know whether that was a,
That would be a Dwayne question.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of putting out those bills, so I don't really know what he,
all right.
sorry.
So for August, and then it jumps to September, what is that $500,000 increase? Is that you just finding the things and updating the spreadsheet, or?
You're talking about the I&I?
Yeah, the I&I, yeah.
What I actually did is I went back and I saw the months, I went to the last month that we had a transfer, and then I went in and picked up every month of how much we were supposed to transfer, and then I actually physically made the transfer and transferred the money out of the water accounts
Okay.
into the I&I accounts. Because what you see in that spreadsheet is the actual dollar amounts that were in there. Lonnie and I kind of went back and forth over this spreadsheet because he felt like that it needed to be a more of what kind of should have happened in that account, and I'm kind of more of the
Black and
thinking
white.
that it needs to be what actually did happen.
Yeah.
So that's how I did it. I hope
like
y'all like that, but that actually there could be some transfers. Those accounts can go up and down with transfers that need to be made. Like you'll see one of them, I think in the clearing account, the happens to jump up. Well, if we do an AP right at the end of the month and we have to transfer a lot of money to the clearing account, then that could cause that balance to jump up when those checks won't come out until the next month. But it gives you an exact amount. I wanted you to know exactly the dollar amount that's in the account.
Yeah.
And so that's what those are. So I
Perfect.
transferred the money out of those accounts and put it into the I&I so that that's how much should be in that I&I account.
Perfect.
Yes, sir,
Thank you.
Terry.
On the street account,
Yes.
is there some money going out of that, or are we solid at that amount now, or have we got some outstanding that we've got to pay? So that's $706,000.
Streets should be pretty solid.
So we've got quite a bit sitting in there to do some things this next year.
Yes.
Good. That's good.
Now, Mr. Mayor, I thought the I&I just went to
Do what?
infrastructure and improvement on the water system? Okay.
Sewer plant, you can do that.
And also bond issue, bond payment.
Bond payment too, okay.
Yes.
Well, that
That
would
that
make
has been
sense.
directed by ordinance.
The
Y'all-
bond's paying for infrastructure, so of
Yes,
course.
Yes,
The,
that was put in there by ordinance.
The building down the sewer plant, I mean, that's going to come out of that.
Yeah, the chemical storage
Yeah,
building.
yeah, that.
Yeah, which we hopefully, we're still trying to get some electrical work, electrical done, and when we get that done, get the final figures, we'll be able to bring that to the council.
This would also
We're
be if
not
we
solid
decided,
on it yet.
this would also be if we decided to expand our water sewer to a different area, to put in a new, subdivision, something like that, new housing. That could be used for that, because that would be in our
Right,
infrastructure.
I know.
Well, we might be able to catch up with the people that already have water but no sewer, so, yeah. That's what we were hoping for, one in the bush.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes, sir.
we talked about the bond market. Is Eureka Springs in pretty good shape as far as how we're looked upon in the bond market?
Yes,
We got a good rating? Good.
we pay her.
Part of our bill, I don't know whether you were on the council, but one of the things we were doing with the I&I was getting our, we are way behind on our, I've lost the name for it, but we had to be 120% of our bond ratings. And we weren't, we were under that. We were like almost 90%. So we were, with the I&I fee, we were able to get back on track. And so when we were under the covenants, is what I think is what the word is, they could have called those bonds at any time, and we would have had to pay them off immediately. So now we're back on track
Good.
and meeting our covenant, meeting all the requirements for the bonds.
Good.
We were always in good shape, but it was just that we weren't meeting the covenants.
I thought, well, by law, we have to be 120%, right?
Correct.
Doesn't even matter if we got a bond or not, we still would have to be 120.
Yeah.
Any other questions? One last thing I wanted to tell you, Miss Autumn. I spoke to BK&D today, and she has guaranteed me that she's going to have it to me by the end of this week. So
Oh,
we're going to cross our fingers.
celebrate.
I didn't tell her that it was 2 weeks till the next council meeting, because then it'll end up being 2 weeks. But she guaranteed me she'd have it to me by the end of this week. There was a little bit of feedback from the peer review. It went to the peer review. The peer review had some more questions, so they sent them back to her, and then she had to answer those questions, and now she's satisfied peer review. So
Nice.
she told me today she'd have it to me by the end of this week. So,
Yay, then we'll be finally caught up.
well, then we go to the next year.
It'll be a while.
So the check is in the
We're
mail.
working on it.
We're working on it.
I like it. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else?
No.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
y'all.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Michael.
All right, we'll take a 13-minute recess until our council meeting convenes at 6 o'clock.